Hey, Ruby, is this how you act after seeing me for the first time in years at our reunion? You thought you could just waltz off with my makeup? You took my whole pouch, didn't you? Give it back. Huh? What are you even talking about? I have no idea what you mean. Don't try to act all innocent. Everyone there saw what happened. You blatantly stuffed my makeup pouch into your bag. Do you even realize how embarrassing that was for me? I thought after all this time maybe you'd matured, but clearly I was wrong. Grow up already. No, let's get one thing straight here. The one who hasn't grown up is you. It's actually kind of funny that you'd accuse me like this. Excuse you? What part of this is funny to you? Oh, come on. Think about it for a second, would you? You're really the one at fault here. Seriously, what were you even thinking carrying something so obviously out of your league? You brought this on yourself, honestly. Huh? Out of my league? Are you kidding me right now? You're saying that just because I come from a single-parent household, aren't you? You've always looked down on me for that, and I have had it. I have put up with years of you stealing my things, but enough is enough. Return it, you thief! Wow, the way you talk to me is so harsh. I'm just stating the obvious. Luxury items are meant for people who deserve them, you know? It's just common sense. Oh, give me a break. Stop acting like you're so much better than me just because you were born into a wealthier family. You've been pulling this nonsense for years, acting entitled, taking my things without permission, and pretending it's somehow my fault. I've had enough of your arrogance, Ruby. Jealous much? It's really not my fault that you can't handle reality. And I can't help that I have what you don't, and honestly, bottom-tier losers like you, your lives are basically over before they even begin. Just accept it. How dare you talk to me like that? Don't you dare call me a bottom-tier loser. For your information, I make more money than you do. Oh, wow, you sound so desperate right now. It's embarrassing, really. I can't even understand what you're trying to say at this point. It's so ridiculous. Honestly, just being associated with someone like you is mortifying. I think it's time we cut ties. Goodbye. Ruby, wait. Don't you dare walk away from me, Ruby. Ruby! So today is supposed to be my big day, my wedding day, you know. But something really weird happened. During my destination wedding in Hawaii, I could have sworn I saw someone who looks exactly like you. Let me ask, Ruby, was that you? Surely not, right? Oh, so now you're finally reaching out to me? After ignoring all my messages for the past year? You've got some nerve, but sure, I'll confirm it for you. I'm here. Not that I wanted to be, but yeah, I'm attending. Wait, are you serious? Oh my God, I can't believe this. Stop it. I'm laughing so hard I might ruin my makeup. You actually came uninvited? Do you even realize how ridiculous you look right now? Excuse me? Let me make this clear for you. There is no place for someone like you here. This wedding is for the elite, for people who actually belong in high society. My husband, he's a Harvard graduate, a top elite, the next CEO of his company, no less. All of our guests are on that same level, people who truly understand luxury and class. You, on the other hand, are completely out of your depth here. Just leave already. Oh, is that so? Well then, I suppose I'll take my leave. I wouldn't want to impose. Wait, hold on. Did you not hear what I just said? I am telling you to leave because people like you don't belong here. Your presence is an insult to everything this event represents. Why are you even here? Did you come just to mooch off the free trip to Hawaii? Or did you think crashing my wedding would somehow make you feel better about yourself? Either way, it's pathetic. Go home. Actually, I'm here as an invited guest, on the groom's side to be specific. What? Wait, what did you just say? You heard me. I'm here because the groom invited me. And don't worry, I'll be leaving soon. I had no intention of celebrating this sham of a wedding anyway. Honestly, it's hilarious watching you dig your own grave like this. Good luck cleaning up the mess you've made. Enjoy your big day.
Miss Claire, I'm so sorry for Ruby's rude behavior. I can't believe she'd say such horrible things.
Truly, I'm embarrassed for her.
No, it's okay. I'm just still shocked. I didn't expect her to act like that at all.
Well, I'm glad I sent you the screenshots as proof beforehand. Honestly, this seems like the right moment to say it. Your ability to judge people needs some serious work.
Wait, what do you mean?
The moment I learned Ruby was the one you were planning to marry, I knew you were being deceived. That girl, she's a master manipulator, an expert at pretending to be someone she's not. If I didn't have the evidence, I knew you wouldn't believe a word I said about her.
That might be true, but...
Look, I knew that if I attended the wedding, Ruby wouldn't be able to hold back. She was absolutely certain she'd show her true colors eventually. And, well, she did exactly that. Here's the thing. Your ability to connect with anyone is an incredible talent, something to be proud of. But your tendency to trust everyone who treats you kindly, that's your downfall. I warned you about this before, didn't I?
You're right, ma'am. My parents warned me about Ruby as well. But I was so determined to prove that my judgment was right. I didn't want to believe they could see something I couldn't. I think I let myself become blind to reality.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Ruby was at fault for exploiting your naivete, but you need to acknowledge your own role in this. I understand that you and your parents don't see eye to eye, and that probably made you more stubborn about proving them wrong. But let's be honest, it all backfired, didn't it?
It did. I'm sorry.
Well, you're an adult now, so I suggest you and Ruby figure out what's next together. It's your life and your responsibility to handle this mess.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Oh, nothing you need to worry about. Let's just say I have some personal grievances with Ruby. This whole situation, it's sort of my way of getting back at her. For years, I avoided her, ignored her nonsense, and pretended she didn't exist. But dragging you into her schemes, that's where I draw the line. I couldn't let her off the hook for that. You ruined my wedding! This is all your fault. Pay me back! I'm going to sue you for the entire cost of the ceremony. Excuse me? How exactly did I ruin your wedding when I wasn't even involved in the actual event? Don't play dumb. You kept it a secret that you knew Blake. You set me up. This was all part of your little scheme. Oh, that? Oh, yeah, I guess I forgot to mention it. But honestly, this is your fault, not mine. What did you just say? I mean, let's think about this logically. You were trying to marry someone way out of your league. Isn't that exactly what you've always said about people like me? Luxury items, luxury lifestyles, they're meant for people who deserve them, right? So by your own logic, marrying a Harvard graduate and future CEO doesn't really suit you, does it? Guess this means goodbye to your celebrity lifestyle, am I wrong? You've got to be kidding me! What do you even have against me? Why are you doing this to me? You've ruined my life and you think you can just walk away? I'm sorry, but I genuinely have no idea what you're talking about. Listening to you is exhausting, so I think this is where I cut ties. Bye now. Don't you dare hang up on me. You think you can just end the conversation whenever you want? Don't walk away from this, you lowlife. Pick up the phone, you pathetic bottom feeder. Blake, please, I'm begging you. Think this through one more time.
I've already thought it through enough. The decision is final. Just sign the divorce papers and stop dragging this out.
Wait, no, I haven't done anything wrong. Why are you abandoning me like this? Didn't we love each other? Didn't we promise forever?
I've seen your true colors, Ruby. You lied to me, deceived me, and made a fool out of me. I'm ashamed of myself for not realizing it sooner.
I didn't deceive you. I would never. If anything, you're the one who's been manipulated.
What are you even talking about right now?
It's that poor loser, isn't it? She's filled your head with nonsense, hasn't she? Listen to me. Claire has always been jealous of me. Ever since we were kids, she's resented me for being born into wealth and having the life she could never have. She's been lying about me just to ruin my reputation.
Is that all you have to say for yourself?
What do you mean?
What I mean is that your excuses are absurd and pathetic. Your delusional ramblings are exhausting to listen to. Can we wrap this up? If you're done making a fool of yourself, just sign the papers.
Why? Why are you only listening to Claire? She's an outsider, Blake. I am your wife. Shouldn't I be a priority over some stranger?
Claire is not a stranger. I've known her far longer than I've known you.
Wait, what? You've known her for that long? What are you even talking about?
Claire used to be my private tutor. She's the reason I got into Harvard. If it weren't for her guidance, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Wait a second. Hold on, that doesn't make sense. You're telling me her, that loser, that idiot, managed to tutor you to Harvard? Are you hearing yourself? She's nothing but a high school graduate. There is no way someone with her level of intelligence could have done that.
You're wrong. Claire was actually accepted into Harvard herself. She just couldn't attend for personal reasons and had to decline her spot. But her acceptance letter and her results, they're all legitimate.
What? You're saying she got into Harvard?
That's right. The idiot you've been belittling is far more capable than you could ever imagine. To top it off, she's the one who helped me achieve my goals. You know my family, right? The elite, high-achieving kind. Claire wasn't just a random choice. She was recommended by my father himself. Do you understand what that means? If my father, who accepts nothing but the best, trusted her, then her abilities speak for themselves.
Okay, fine. Your father's known for being strict, but...
Strict doesn't even begin to cover it. My relationship with my father has never been great, honestly. I grew up in a household where nothing less than the best was acceptable. I never felt like I belonged there. But Claire? She was different. No matter how my results turned out, she always celebrated my progress. It made me feel like I was worth something. She was more than a tutor to me. She was like family. Like the oldest sister I never had. And you insulted her. Mocked her. Do you really think I'd let that slide?
Wait, you are blowing this out of proportion. She's just some nobody from a poor single-parent family. Why does her opinion matter more than mine?
Are you even listening to yourself right now? Do you hear how vile you sound? Let me make it crystal clear. Disrespecting Claire is the same as disrespecting my family. And the fact that you're still throwing a tantrum instead of apologizing, it's disgraceful.
No, Blake, you're the one who's wrong. You're the one being unreasonable.
That's enough, Ruby. This conversation is over. You're wasting my time. Pack your things and leave the house immediately. If you refuse, I'll call security to escort you out.
How could you? Kicking me out of our home? Do you even have a heart?
I don't have compassion for people who lack humanity. Sign the divorce papers and disappear from my life.
No, I won't do it. If I leave now, I'll be nothing but an old washed-up woman with no prospects. You can't do this to me.
Ruby, you know my family values. My household is built on success and integrity. There's no place for someone like you in my life. I refuse to have a liar and manipulator in my family. You're not welcome here anymore.
It's all your fault my life is completely ruined. I have been kicked out of my house, and thanks to the nonsense you spewed to my family, I can't even go back to my parents' place. What the hell were you thinking? What was I thinking? I only told the truth. Honestly, you should be thankful it ended with just a divorce. If I were you, I'd consider myself lucky. Of course, I'm planning a little more punishment for you. Huh? What are you talking about? If anyone's dealing out punishment, it's me. Don't play the victim here. You're the real criminal, you disgusting monster. A criminal? If we're talking about criminals, shouldn't we start with you? What? Don't play dumb. You've always had that nasty habit of taking things that didn't belong to you, haven't you? Since forever, you've been spouting nonsense about how poor people don't deserve nice things, then going around stealing them for yourself. Isn't that right, or has that habit just evolved over time? That's not... Anyway, I've already reported you to the police. Oh, and by the way, I also shared your charming little habit with all the guests who attended your wedding. I thought it'd be a nice gesture to keep them informed, you know? I wouldn't be surprised if they started filing reports of their own soon. Who knows, maybe your habit caught up with you more than you realized. You're insane! Are you trying to paint me as a criminal? There's no way I'll let this slide. You have destroyed my life, and I won't rest until I drag you straight into hell with me. I'm heading to your house right now, so get ready to face me. My house? Oh, you mean the one I've already moved out of? Sorry, but it's empty now. Huh? Yeah, I moved. I told you already, didn't I? Or are your ears not working properly? Anyway, the house is gone now. It was a good chance to sell it since it was just me living there. The place was way too big for one person. Oh, and selling it was actually my mom's idea. So yeah, the address you have, completely useless now. You sold your family home? Are you insane? Selling a house filled with memories of your family? Wow, that's cold even for you. Typical behavior from someone with no heart. Honestly, it's no surprise. A woman from a single mother household who lied about getting into Harvard. Guess scammers like you will do whatever it takes to survive. Lie? About Harvard? I wasn't lying. I got accepted. I just didn't go. As if anyone believes that. This is Harvard we're talking about. If you'd gotten in, you'd have moved heaven and earth to attend. Oh wait, let me guess. You couldn't afford it, could you? Figures. It's true that money was part of it, but it wasn't the main reason. My mom collapsed right before I was supposed to start. She was diagnosed with cancer and it had already spread. There was no saving her. I just couldn't leave her like that. I wanted to be by her side until the very end. Wait, what? Even someone like me has a heart, believe it or not. Yes, I grew up in a single mother household, and sure, life isn't easy. But my dad left us an inheritance, and my mom worked tirelessly to make sure we had everything we needed. We weren't rich, but we weren't destitute either. Thanks to my grandparents, I even had a quiet place to study. You know I was always at the top of our class, right? Huh? Were you? I consistently ranked in the top 3 every single year. I earned my spot at Harvard fair and square, and I was planning to attend with scholarships and grants. But then my mom's health took a turn for the worse. The doctors told us the cancer had metastasized and there was no hope for recovery. You remember how my dad passed away, right? He had a sudden illness and I didn't make it in time to say goodbye. I didn't want that to happen again. So I made the choice to decline my acceptance and stay by her side. It wasn't an easy decision, but it was the right one. That's... Still, why are you wasting your time working as a tutor if that's true? At first, I was just a regular teacher at a cram school. But then Blake's father heard about my Harvard acceptance and approached me. He insisted I tutor his son. That's how I ended up here. So no, I never lied about anything, not that it's any of your business. Honestly, aren't you in the least bit ashamed criticizing me when you have no leg to stand on? Excuse me? Sure, being from a single-parent household has its challenges, but that doesn't give anyone the right to steal or belittle others. You've crossed so many lines. Shut up! Poor people deserve to be exploited. That's funny because I'm actually wealthier than you now. Blake hired me as his company's personal secretary. You know how prestigious his firm is, right? The pay is fantastic. I'm living a pretty comfortable life these days. What? Wait, Blake's company? The famous one as a secretary? But even the general hiring process there is insanely competitive. Well, Blake personally recommended me. Said he couldn't trust anyone else for the job. That's impossible. How could this happen? So here's the thing. Why don't you stop wasting your time envying me? I have everything you don't, and I'm not about to lose sleep over someone like you. Instead, maybe focus on enjoying your inevitable downfall. You've got a long way to fall. Good luck hitting rock bottom. Please make it a settlement. If this continues, things will get really bad for me. Wow, this is incredible. There are far more victims than I expected. It's more than double, isn't it? But tell me, doesn't it seem a little pathetic begging for your life after you've mocked me so much? If this keeps going like this, I am going to be a full-fledged criminal and my life will be over. I'll beg and flatter you to survive if I have to. Please just forgive me. We were classmates after all, right? Sorry, but I can't forgive you for betraying him. What? Blake, to me, is like a younger brother. That's why I went to the wedding. I was prepared to be insulted, all for the hope that you would reconsider the marriage. But who could have known? I'd hear rumors during the ceremony that you were cheating. I didn't want to believe it, so I looked into it, and it turns out you had multiple affairs. You were involved with some sugar daddies too, right? One of them I remember hearing about. I made sure to tell Blake. It seems you were lying to those sugar daddies as well. Now you'll be arrested, forced to pay alimony, settlement money, and damages. It's truly a shame. Enjoy your life filled with debt and extreme poverty. Please help me. I'll do anything, even bow down to you. I won't be able to survive otherwise. Get arrested and let your life be over. Goodbye. No! Blake, how are you doing? Have you managed to look ahead a little more?
Miss Claire, I'm sorry for worrying you. Honestly, this whole thing has been really tough on me. Not only did I fail to notice Ruby's true intentions, but I was also cheated on. It all came out to my parents, who were seriously worried about me. It's so embarrassing. This whole situation has been so overwhelming that I've only now started to have a proper conversation with them.
I see. Do you think you'll be able to get along better with your parents?
My parents, they apologized for the past. They admitted that they pushed me too hard with the studying. Honestly, I thought their apology was a bit too late. I still hold a lot of resentment. When I saw how worried they were, I felt guilty. I realized just how immature I had been. It's because of you, Miss Claire, that I'm able to face forward now.
I'm glad I could help you and that I've been able to help repay the favor.
Repay the favor?
Actually, during our tutoring sessions, my mother passed away. I was really devastated by it. I kept it hidden from you.
Oh, I see. I'm so sorry. I didn't notice at all.
I didn't want to make you worry about me. But during that time, your positivity really helped me. I'm glad I was able to return the favor and be there for you.
Miss Claire?
Yes, what is it?
Well, I'm divorced and I guess I'm not really someone you'd look at as a partner, right?
That's right. I can't look at you that way.
So blunt.
As I've told you before, you're like a younger brother to me. I can't see my little brother in a romantic light.
I knew it was no use.
Hey, it's not good to confess like that. You're only making things awkward.
Sorry. Oh, but please invite me to your wedding. I really don't want to have my own wedding for a while, but I would love to attend yours. I'm just joking.
I'll definitely invite you soon.
Huh?
You do realize I'm about to change my last name, right? So, of course, you'll be there to celebrate it, won't you?
Definitely. I'll absolutely be there to celebrate.
I don't have any relatives left anymore, but you'll be there to stand in for them, right? I can count on you to celebrate with me, can't I?
Of course, I'll be there without fail. You can count on me to be there for you on such an important day.
Thank you. It means a lot to me. I know I don't have much family left, but I'm lucky to have you around.
I'm glad I can be there for you, Miss Claire. You've always been so kind to me, and I want to be there to support you, just like you have supported me.
Thank you, Blake. It's because of people like you that I can move forward. I truly appreciate you. Ruby was arrested for theft. It seems that in addition to the theft charges, she had also been involved in burglary. Several victims had already filed police reports against her, and her personal situation was even worse than it appeared on the surface. She was tangled up in an overwhelming amount of debt, including alimony payments following her divorce, compensation fees she had been ordered to pay, and a mountain of loans she had taken out to cover her daily expenses. In a cruel twist of fate, she found herself caught in a vicious cycle of financial despair. It was as if her entire life had come crashing down, and all of her hopes and dreams had evaporated in an instant. To understand the gravity of Ruby's situation, one must look at the journey that led to her downfall. From the outside, Ruby seemed like a regular person, someone who lived a modest life and kept to herself. She had a steady job and managed to maintain a facade of normalcy. However, behind closed doors, her life was far from stable. Her financial situation had been deteriorating for quite some time, and the pressure was slowly crushing her. Ruby's criminal activities had been a desperate attempt to cover up for her financial struggles. The burglaries had been going on for months, possibly even years, without anyone noticing. She targeted homes in the neighborhood, breaking in under the cover of night and taking whatever she could find. It wasn't just the material possessions she was after. It seemed like she was also trying to take something intangible, something that would give her a fleeting sense of control over her life. She may have hoped that by stealing those items, she could somehow fix the mess she had made in her financial world. But the truth was that each theft only dug her deeper into a hole. The police had been investigating a series of home burglaries in the area, but they hadn't been able to track down the culprit. That is, until the reports started to pile up. The victims had described similar events. Their homes had been broken into and valuable items had gone missing. It wasn't long before the investigation zeroed in on Ruby. It was a matter of time before the authorities connected the dots. Eventually, they caught up with her, and it became clear that she was responsible for the crimes. But Ruby's troubles didn't end with the theft charges. It was discovered that her financial troubles were far worse than anyone had anticipated. Not only had she been struggling to manage her money, but she had been avoiding her responsibilities for years. She had borrowed money from various sources, taking out loans to make ends meet. These loans quickly grew out of control, and Ruby had no idea how to handle the mounting debt. In addition to her personal debts, Ruby had also been facing the harsh reality of her divorce. Her marriage had been on the rocks for a long time before it ended. Her husband had grown tired of her financial mismanagement and her inability to address the mounting issues in their relationship. When they parted ways, it was clear that Ruby had very little to show for the years they had spent together. In fact, she was left with nothing but a large spousal support payment she couldn't afford. The divorce had been particularly bitter, and Ruby found herself caught up in the emotional fallout of the separation. While her ex-husband moved on with his life, Ruby was left to deal with the aftermath. The spousal support she had been ordered to pay was astronomical, and it only added to the financial burden she was already carrying. Every month she struggled to scrape together enough money to meet her obligations. But no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't keep up with the payments. The compensation fees Ruby was also required to pay were another crushing weight on her shoulders. These were the result of various legal battles she had lost over the years. Whether it was for damages she had caused or for other legal matters, Ruby was left to deal with the consequences of her actions. These fees were just another reminder of how far her life had fallen, and they only contributed to her growing sense of hopelessness. As Ruby's debts continued to pile up, she found herself trapped. She was unable to keep up with the demands of her creditors, and every day felt like a struggle for survival. It wasn't just the financial strain that weighed on her, it was the emotional toll that came with it. Ruby was isolated, her social life had been all but destroyed, and she had little to no support from friends or family. She had pushed people away over the years, and now she was paying the price for it. The thefts were the last straw. They were the culmination of years of bad decisions, poor planning, and neglect. Ruby had reached the point of no return, and when the police arrived to arrest her, it felt like the end of the line. Her life as she knew it was over. She had no job to return to, no home to go back to, and no real future to look forward to. Her arrest marked the final chapter in a tragic story of financial mismanagement, criminal activity, and personal failure. The news of Ruby's arrest sent shockwaves through her community. People who had known her for years were stunned. Many couldn't believe that someone they had once trusted could fall so far. They had no idea that Ruby was living a double life, one filled with secrets, lies, and despair. Some people felt sympathy for her, understanding that her actions were the result of years of pent-up pressure and stress. Others, however, were angry. They had been victims of her crimes and they felt betrayed by her. In the end, Ruby's story was one of tragic consequence. Her arrest and subsequent downfall served as a harsh reminder that no matter how carefully someone tries to hide their problems, they will eventually catch up with them. Ruby had spent years trying to outrun her mistakes, but in the end, she couldn't escape the inevitable. Her life, once filled with hope and potential, had been reduced to a series of poor decisions, stolen moments, and irreversible mistakes. As Ruby sat in her cell facing the consequences of her actions, she realized that there was no easy way out. She had lost everything that once mattered to her, and all that remained was the cold reality of her situation. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Ruby's life had been forever changed by the choices she had made, and now she would have to live with those choices for the rest of her life. On the other hand, I got married and had a wedding. Of course, I invited Blake as well, but during the ceremony, he was crying, and no matter how much time passed, I couldn't help but feel that he would always be my cute little brother. It was truly an amazing day, and I'm so happy that I was able to have such a wonderful wedding. Looking back, I could never have imagined this day would come. Getting married felt like a dream, something I had always hoped for but never really believed would happen to me. Growing up, weddings were always these grand, almost magical events in my mind. They were about love, promises, and new beginnings, but now, standing in front of everyone, in the middle of my own ceremony, it felt completely surreal. It was hard to believe that it was actually happening. The excitement in the air was palpable, and everything felt perfect. My dress, the decorations, the atmosphere, and of course, the people around me. I had always imagined this moment with a sense of anticipation, but it turned out to be even more beautiful than I had ever envisioned. There were flowers everywhere, smiles on everyone's faces, and laughter filling the air. But what made the day truly special wasn't just the beauty of the event or the grand setting, it was the people who shared it with me, especially Blake. Blake had been my close friend for as long as I could remember. We had been through so much together, ups and downs, laughter and tears, but through it all, he had been there. He was the one who stood by me during my toughest times, offering his unwavering support, and when it came to my wedding, I knew I had to have him there by my side. I noticed him right away when I saw him sitting in the audience, his eyes glistening with tears. I smiled, though part of me felt a little emotional too. Blake had always been there for me, but seeing him cry on my wedding day felt like a reminder of how far we had come and how much we had changed over the years. It was a sign of just how deep our bond was, and even though we were both adults now, in that moment I couldn't help but feel like I was still taking care of him, like I was his older sister guiding him along. It was funny in a way. Here I was, a grown woman, about to begin a new chapter of my life with the man I loved, and yet Blake was still the same adorable little brother to me. Time had passed, and we had both grown and changed in so many ways, but that bond we shared had remained constant. He would always be the person I could rely on, the person who would always be there to support me, no matter where life took us. I watched him carefully as the ceremony continued. He wiped his eyes, trying to hide his tears, but I could see them. It was both heartwarming and bittersweet. Blake wasn't just my friend, he was family. He had always been there for me, even when I didn't realize I needed him. I could see the pride in his eyes as he watched me step into this new phase of my life, and it made me feel incredibly grateful. It was as though he was proud of me, proud of the woman I had become and the journey I was about to take with my new husband. The wedding ceremony went by in a blur, but as it all came together, I realized how fortunate I was to be surrounded by so many people who cared about me. To have found the love of my life and to have someone like Blake by my side, how could I not feel overwhelmed with joy? I could hear the vows being exchanged. I see the smiles of my friends and family and feel the love in the air. It was one of these moments in life where everything just felt right, when you knew that everything was falling into place. And Blake, despite his tears, was a big part of that. He wasn't just a guest at the wedding, he was an essential part of my story. His presence there meant the world to me. I couldn't imagine celebrating such a momentous occasion without him. As the ceremony ended and everyone moved to the reception, I made sure to find him and thank him. I wanted him to know just how much his support meant to me and how much his friendship had helped shape the person I had become. Looking at Blake, I couldn't help but think about the future. Even though this was my wedding day, it felt like a new beginning for us all. As we celebrated, I realized that no matter where life would take me, I would always have the memories of this day and the people who made it special. Blake would always be there, a constant in my life, someone I could turn to no matter what came next. The thought brought me peace, knowing that even as I entered this new chapter with my husband, Blake would still be an important part of my life.